Well, there's an old saying, it's not old, but I guess it is old, in our game, that sometimes you practice, or you play how you practice. We were not very good in practice yesterday, and therefore, I thought we showed a lot of what we looked like yesterday in practice, and that's unfortunate. Because I felt like the trip that we had in Florida, we took a lot of steps forward and did some good things, only to revert back, a couple steps here in the hall tonight. So that's, I got to take the blame for that, I only did a one-day prep. I gave him Monday off when we returned. Maybe that was a mistake on my part. But didn't do a whole lot well tonight, starting with us defensively. Lacked urgency, lacked energy, and we didn't change throughout the course of the game. And so that was very, very disappointing. Although it's a W in the column, on nights like tonight when your team comes out and they don't perform at the level of what our standards are and what my expectations are for this group, I'm disappointed, and so that's what it is. I'm disappointed with our performance.
When you talk about practice being not good, what is that? Is that effort? Is it execution?
Both effort, execution, focus, energy. Just a desire to really want to be present, hone into, like I said, it was a one-day prep, what was going to be important, coming into tonight's game, our execution, how we were going to guard certain actions. So focus, like I said, energy, effort, urgency, collectively. Was not what it needed to be on a day where, when it's just a one-day prep like that, it wasn't a physical practice. It was more of a, hey, we need you here mentally. We got a lot of shots up and, didn't want to get up and down too much just because we played. We were going to play today. And so, very, very disappointed with how we handled ourselves.
Coach, moving forward, you got your first Big Ten game coming up on Saturday. What's the excitement and the energy around not only first conference game, but also playing on really a notable day around Indiana athletics?
I haven't really thought too much about that. But good luck to Coach Aird and his team. They've been fabulous. I'm so excited for our volleyball team tomorrow. It's great to be hosting, the tournament, the NCAA tournament. I'm so proud of Steve and his staff and his players, and we wish them well, and certainly our football team, who's just been outstanding, and then men's basketball, who's been great as well. So, I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into, Illinois, as far as being in the first Big Ten opener for us. Here's what I do know. We got to play much better than we did tonight. My hope is that between now and Saturday, that our team can get it together.
Hi, Coach. After one of the best performances you guys had in the season, it was still resulted in a loss. Coming out today, you mentioned this whole press conference so far that you felt disappointment. How concerning is that disappointment? How concerning is the attitude that you saw today on the court?
Well, it's always concerning, especially, when you're dealing with a young basketball team. And, again, not only are they new, there's new pieces out there. We can't forget how young of a team we still have, and that's not an excuse. But the problem is there's just been, like, in the course of a season, you want to see growth, incremental growth throughout, and it might not be game to game, but it could be, maybe every 2 games, every 3 games, you feel like, yeah, we're trending, we're growing. And like I said, I thought after the Florida game, we were trending, we grew, did some really good things down there. And so, it's always concerning because I thought that, I gave them some game goals today going into this afternoon or tonight's contest that I thought, one, were achievable, and I'm not sure we got any of those goals. And we reached them. We wanted to keep them under 50. We didn't do that. How many threes did they end up hitting? 7. We wanted to keep them under 3. We wanted to be able to score 6 to 8 points out of our out of bounds. We were unable to do that. We kept our turnovers low. Our assists have still been so incredibly low, which is very frustrating, which means we're not sharing the ball very much. And so, is it concerning? Always, especially because I have a young team. And none of them have been at this level and really understand what it takes to win at a level like this in the Big Ten, which is so good. And sometimes I wonder if they think they know more than me and my staff know. And the answer to that is absolutely they don't. And until they can trust and what we're asking them to do, how we're asking them to do things, whether it's how we're going to guard, how we want to execute in certain actions. It doesn't work when they decide to do it their way as well as it does when they are focused and they lock into how we want it to look and want it to be done. So I'm hopeful that they can start, believing and trusting that there is a plan. And they need to be able to execute that plan at a higher level with greater discipline, greater focus, greater energy, greater urgency, all those things that we lack tonight.
Hey, Coach, another game without Z.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen out of those players who have kind of stepped in those minutes? What have you liked? What have you not liked out of those
Well,
performances?
Odessa has to be so much better defensively. We're not asking Odessa to be the scorer that Z, what was before, she went out, she was, 13 and 10, a double-double maybe, something close to that. But Odessa's not a kid that, we are, certainly she needs to be able to score around the bucket. I mean, those are, high percentage shots for us. She needs to get second and third shot opportunities for us. But where she really, really needs to improve is on the defensive side of the ball. She has to be more physical. She has to play this game lower than what she's used to playing. By that I mean bending her knees and just being more athletic in a stance. She has to be able to box out. She has to be able to be in coverages that only can help our guards, when we start to get beat downhill. The coverages, and we call that a plug. Oftentimes she's too high in the plug, and then we give up the little roll pass. And so she just has to keep improving defensively for us, and Faith and Jade the same. And so, for all of those guys right now that are trying to, play in that 5 spot for us, their biggest improvement has to continue to be defensively for us.
Speaking of Z, so you have a team that's young, as you said, was still meshing for the beginning of the season, and now you lost a big piece for a period.
Right.
Of time. How much does that affect that gelling going down the road, and how long do you think she'll be out?
Yeah, well, I think the thing that we miss most about Z is her energy. Z is an energy giver. She plays with great passion, and that's what we miss, is just her energy out there amongst her athleticism and her ability, to guard and, be in those coverages like I mentioned. And she still has a ways to go, too, at improvement. There's no doubt. But, she's different, because she's so athletic. Right now, Z is week to week. And so we'll just keep, going day by day with her and keeping, our best to try to keep her in shape. I mean, that's the worst, the one thing that, not worst, but I worry about the most, when kids have to take some time off is losing their conditioning level. And so we have to make sure that we're doing what we can to keep Z in shape. So when it is, time for her to get back on the floor, it's going to take her a minute, but she hasn't lost all of it.
Hey,
Anything
Coach.
else? Yes.
Sorry,
You're
one
fine.
more. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shay's been, just playing phenomenal
Yeah.
basketball this season. She had 38 on Sunday, and then
Right.
tonight has 26. What's maybe a player that you could compare her to, and how big has she been for you guys during this kind of stretch without Z?
Yeah, Shay's been great. I think she is absolutely, right now, the way she's been playing has just been so important for our team. And I'm glad she has strong shoulders because she's carried us from an offensive perspective in a lot of those games. And so, happy. I'm proud of her too. She, again, is a kid that works day in and day out on her game. She wants to play at that next level. I think she's proving every night that she goes out that she can play at the next level. And she's just doing it in different ways, not just being a catch-shoot, three-point shooter, attacking her mid-range game, getting to the rim. But also, she's a pretty sturdy facilitator for us also. That's been another part of her game that's continued to grow here. But she's been really good. She's been really good, and I'm happy, but I'm also proud of the way she's played for us for sure.
Hi, Coach. Nevaeh Caffey provided a lot in the transition game for you tonight, but still maybe not filling it up on the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Just what have you seen from her from these first few games as she kind of gets her bearings as a freshman, and what are you looking for her to improve on when Big Ten starts to come around?
Well, again, going back to the defensive side of the ball, that was one of the the things that I thought she was. We needed her to be better against Iowa State defensively, and Jada Williams had her. We knew that Audie was going to score hers, but what we didn't want to have happen is some of those other kids, like Jada Williams. I think she has 17, and it was like we needed to keep like. Audie can have the 40, whatever she had, but we can't have a few of those other guys that are in double digits. And so for Nevaeh, I think, and she was got into foul trouble. I think Nevaeh has to learn to be able to pressure without fouling and be able to keep her man in front of her. So those are some things defensively that we have to have as we move into Big Ten play. She has to continue to be a very reliable defender that can put pressure on the ball for us, but she has to be able to do that without fouling. And then, offensively, pushing the pace, certainly, but, we got to get her, especially at the rim, because she's such an aggressive offensive player, to be able to do a much better job of playing off of 2 feet. She is guilty sometimes of leaving, and that thing doesn't have a chance, just from a touch standpoint. So she's much better when she's playing off of 2. Yep. Thank you, guys.